All right, let's move into the Six of Wands. So the Six of Wands represents a man on a horse. His cape is flying. He is holding a wreath on his head and a wreath on the top of his wand. I love this card. It feels really good to me. So in this card, traditionally, he's riding his horse and there's all the men in the background, or all the people in the background, and they're celebrating his success and they're celebrating his victory. So the story that I like to think of when this card comes up is this man has gone out on an adventure, set out with his horse, slayed some sort of dragon, had some sort of success or achievement, and he has come back to the town and he is feeling good and victorious and proud, and he's very happy of his accomplishments, and he's getting public recognition of his accomplishments. So all the townspeople are happy to see him, they're joyful that he's back, they're so glad he's safe, they're celebrating his accomplishments and victory, and I feel like they're very appreciative of him, right? They're so glad that he left town and slayed the dragon. So the energy from this card is very much about being proud of your accomplishments, feeling that you've really done something awesome, and particularly getting the public recognition of those around you. So however that looks, maybe it's your family members acknowledging you, maybe it's your workmates acknowledging that you've done a good job, you've completed the project, some sort of celebration and kind of like welcome home, job well done. One of the things that I do want to highlight about this card is the visibility of this person, right? Everybody sees them, everybody acknowledges them, and everybody is celebrating them. So it's very hard to see, but in this card, the people in the background are throwing flowers. So he may be receiving something. There may be some sort of monetary gain or some sort of award or some sort of thing like that he has received as a result of his accomplishments and what he has done or finished. Okay, so this card in the Thelema Tarot does not have the traditional sort of symbols, so you would generally need to remember what this card means. I'm not sure why they didn't do the traditional symbols, but I am not the author of that deck. So anyway, the Six of Gabriel is the man on the horse. The angel is behind him, right? He's walking through the streets. This one is missing all of the crowd celebrating his return. So I do think that's kind of a bummer. But the bottom of the card says, congratulations, you've done a wonderful job. Time to move on to the next project, scholarships, awards, or promotions. Okay? And then the Six of Fire is victory. Good news is on its way. Public recognition or awards. This one does have the townspeople in the background of throwing flowers at the man. So this is a little more traditional in its symbolism. And then the Six of Spring is a woman riding a mighty steed. And it says, wonderful news is on its way. Smart choices that bring rewards, success, and public recognition. What I do like about this card is how beautiful her dress is. I mean, it's really quite magnificent. I like that a lot. It's very royal and regal. And I love that sort of like royal energy like coming through this card. Okay? All right, so we've done the upright version of this card. Let's go ahead and do the reverse. All right. So, let's see. The reverse of this card feels to me like you went out, you did something, you did not slay the dragon, right? You did not pass go, you failed at whatever you were doing, and then you came home and you're like, you don't want anybody to see it. You're like, okay, maybe everybody can just ignore the fact that I missed the dragon when I was supposed to slay him, and I messed up, right? So it's kind of like, okay, I failed, like I didn't accomplish what I said I was going to accomplish, or I didn't do what I said I was going to do for whatever reason. And now I've got to come back home and everybody's going to see that I didn't do that thing, right? So it kind of feels like this. I don't want to say being mortified, but just kind of like wanting to shrink in the corner and you don't want anybody to see you. Whereas this is about being proud and being visible. This is about feeling like, ooh, I could just slide over here into the corner, right? And maybe nobody will notice, right? So this is about not being visible, not being seen because you feel ashamed or sad or like you didn't do what you should have done. And you feel some sort of like regret. Okay, that's the main thing that I get from this card. The second thing that this card could mean is you aren't receiving recognition for your efforts. So, you know, maybe you did slay the dragon, but nobody sees that you did. Nobody acknowledges that you did. It's like you're invisible and you're not rewarded for your efforts. You're not receiving for your efforts, right? Like the flowers that the townspeople are throwing that this guy's receiving, this guy is not receiving those things because the townspeople aren't throwing them because they're not there, right? So it's kind of like, oh, well, I didn't really receive from that. That's kind of disappointing. I thought that I was going to. Like, I thought I was going to come home and be greeted by all these people, but they're not here. Right? So there's that sort of energy to this card that it could mean as well. Obviously, you'll have to use your intuition to see like which one it means in the situation when it comes up in a reading.